Hi everyone, I'm Taryn Boyd and I'm a 7th and 8th grade Spanish teacher, and this year my school is starting with hybrid learning. So today I wanted to show you what I'm planning to do for my first day with the kids in person, first day of Spanish 1, and right now it's a work in progress. This year I'm part of the Stepping Stones Curriculum Club, but I'm not doing exactly what they're doing for the first day of school because I have a first day plan that I really enjoy doing. So when the students first walk in, there's always a seating chart on the board, and I think a seating chart is a really good way to show the students that your class is structured, and it kind of eases their anxiety of where am I going to sit, can I sit by my friends, I don't know where to sit, so I think that's a really good way to start. So then I'll introduce myself in the course. It'll be really brief, and I say that the focus at first is on listening because first we have to listen and then we can talk to learn a language, and that I have some rules, but you'll see how they work along the way, and throughout the lesson I'll refer to the rules. And then I'll tell the students what the learning objective of the lesson is, which is I can listen and understand Spanish about the date, weather, emotions, and greetings. So some of the general components of the lesson are input, oral review, shared writing, shared reading, and opening up the space, which is when I allow students to talk only if they want to. So one of the first lessons is about the calendar, and this is my calendar here, and it has all of the fill-ins down here. I have a few over here right now. So it says hoy es, today is, so I go through this really slowly, establishing the meaning of every word. So like hoy, we go through that a lot because it's a really important word. And for the fill-ins, I only give them a few options to start with. So like, say the class is on a Monday, I just go through lunes and martes, so I can do es lunes o es martes, right? Because it's kind of like circling. So I don't have the whole list of all the days of the week. I just kind of go through the ones that are pertinent to that day. And then same with the numbers. So say school starts on the 8th, maybe I'll just be like siete or ocho, right? Because then it's not so overwhelming. And then we also talk about the weather. So I have a lot of weather terms, but I only start out with 3, fresco, frio, calor. Sometimes students have different opinions as to whether it's fresco or frio, and sometimes maybe I'll do like a voting type thing, put that on the board for more input. And then we put what the weather isn't. This is for other weather terms like está nublado. And then we do their opinion on the weather. So I have kind of like a buen mal type thing. And then sometimes I'll do a vote with this, and a lot of times I'll allow students to raise their hand if they want to, and they can say buen or mal, just for some interaction. So that actually takes quite a bit of time because I'm establishing the meaning of a lot of different things and doing some gestures like miren, like look at the calendar, right? Escuchen, listen. So this process takes quite a lot of time. So then as like a small oral review, I have the kids do a turn and talk where they turn to their partner and they translate the calendar into English to see how many of the terms that they remember. And then I kind of do like a share out where I have a volunteer translate the whole calendar into English, and then I also have a volunteer who will try to read the entire calendar in Spanish. And I tell them, you know, if you can't pronounce the year in Spanish, that's okay. Or if you get to a word that you can't pronounce, that's okay. But only volunteers. So at this point, the students have been sitting a long time. So I like to do a brain break. My class is going to be socially distanced. The desks are pretty far apart. So a really good brain break for that is just what I call tocate. So the students just stand behind their desk, and I do different body parts like tocate la cabeza, tocate la nariz, right? So we kind of like go through all the body parts and then like do it faster, and then I do it, you know, without me doing the gestures and see how many you remember. So they like doing that. And then after that, I just have them go around and say hola to 3 different people. They'll have to stay socially distanced, but just to get them moving a little bit. And then after they say hi to 3 people, they can have a seat. So then we'll do a shared writing. On the first day of school, I'm not sure if my kids will have their iPads, so if not, they'll just use paper. But I'll be writing on an app which is projected onto the board, and the students will be writing on their own paper or iPad or whatever. And so we just kind of go through and we physically write the things that we've been talking about. So it could just be some of the things from the calendar. If we did like a voting thing, we can add that. So we all write it out together. And then after that, we can do a shared reading. So I like to do at the beginning where the class just reads the whole thing together in Spanish. Like I have a pointer and we all read it together. That's really powerful. And then I like to do kind of like pop-up grammar, see if they have any questions. I point out that the days of the week are not capitalized, which is something different from English. So one thing I haven't done in the past that I really want to do this year is to explicitly teach greetings and introductions, such as my name is, good morning, good afternoon, que tal, mucho gusto. I feel like I didn't spend as much time on those as I wanted to, so I kind of want to dedicate part of the lesson to that. And I have like these cute some of these little signs here. I think what I'm going to do is like hang them up on the board and then see if there's any volunteers who know what they mean, since they're so common that I think that some of the students will already know what they are. Just kind of build that confidence and then see if we can kind of get some repetitions of como te llamas and teaching how to say your name. So for the greetings introductions, I'm thinking about having them add on to their write and discuss, and we can write maybe like a mini dialogue of like como te llamas, and then they can say me llamo and put in their name, mucho gusto, encantado, then adios, just a little mini conversation, just to have some of that language written down for them. If I have even more time, I might go on to the emotions, and to start off for some input, I read them and I have them act out each of the emotion. And then if I have some volunteers, I'll ask them how they are. They can say one of them, or if they don't want to say it, they can point to it or come up and point to it. And then I could write some sentences on the board, such as Nancy está cansada, and I could do some PQA with that, normally, Nancy, are you tired on Mondays, right? And I can have kind of incorporate the calendar back into that. At this point, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get through all of the things that I have planned, but it's always good to have more planned than less. So with 10 minutes left of the class, I want to do an exit slip, and I'm thinking of having a Google form quiz, because the information is pretty known that I'm going to cover. I know that I'm going to be talking about the calendar, so I'm thinking of making a quick quiz, like a true-false quiz based off of those terms. So since my class is going to be hybrid, I want them to work on something before I see them in person the next week. And I think at this point what I want them to do is to make a slide for Slide Talk, which is from Nissa Quill, and I'll link her video below. But basically I want them to make a slide with their name, and I want it to be place themed. So on one side have the best place that they've been, like their favorite place. It doesn't have to be a city or country, it can be a place around the town. And then a place that they really want to go, or a place that they would like to live in the future. And so then those slides give me a lot of content to talk about, which I could talk about in person, or I could make maybe a voiceover of me talking through some of those slides, recording myself, and put those up on our learning management system so they can listen to it later. I want to wish everyone luck as you begin this school year. It's going to be kind of crazy, but please share in the comments maybe one activity that you're doing, and I would love to learn from you. And please subscribe to get more language teaching videos. Adios! So in case I have extra time, I like to have a few things up my sleeve, because there's nothing worse of having 5 or 6 minutes left of class and not having anything else on your lesson plan. So one is teaching a rejoinder. So these are from Boulanger. I like teaching this one at first, es obvio. They really like that one. It kind of goes along with quite a few of the cognates that we're learning. So then they can throw this in, es obvio. Or teaching piedra, papel, tijeras, the Spanish version of rock, paper, scissors. They also really like that.